Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm talking about Julio Jones. Julio Jones has been in the news the past couple of days because the Atlanta Falcons are considering trading Julio Jones. People have been thinking for a while now that Julio would be traded, but Atlanta hasn't really been taking offers until this week. This week, a bunch of teams have started trying to negotiate with Atlanta, and amidst all of this, Julio has made multiple public comments explaining that he no longer wants to be with Atlanta. The first one I saw was on Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, where they called Julio Jones, and Shannon Sharpe talked to him for a quick period of time, and he basically said that he no longer wants to be in Atlanta. He wants to be out of there by next season, and he wants to be on a team where he thinks he can win. So, all that said, the only way he will be leaving Atlanta is through a trade because he's still under contract. And these are a couple teams I think would be interesting for him to be traded to. Of course, number one is the Patriots. I would love for him to be traded to our team. I think that if we ended up with Julio Jones, we would be an actual, considerably decent team. If the Patriots ended up with Julio Jones, I don't see us getting less than 9 wins. I think that we would be somewhere in the 9 to 13 range, but probably 10, 11, or 12. Our defense is one of the better ones in the league. I think that he would fit really well with our offense. We have a really young quarterback in Mac Jones and a more veteran quarterback who didn't really play too well last year in Cam Newton. So I think that putting Julio there would give that rock to both of them, so that Cam can start off more comfortable, having that that tried and true wide receiver there to just throw to whenever he needs to. And then Mac Jones would be able, if Mac Jones ended up being the starter, then he would have Julio Jones as that rock as well. So I think the Patriots would be a perfect fit for Julio Jones. Other teams that I think that he would fit really well in would be if the Packers were to pick him up. I know the Packers have some cap space issues, and I don't know what the trade would be for those two teams, but I think that if the Packers were to get Julio Jones, then Aaron Rodgers might be willing to stay. I think that because they already have Davante Adams, it would be a questionable decision as to whether or not that would really be a smart trade for the Packers, but I think that if Aaron Rodgers had Julio Jones and Davante Adams on the same team, I don't see any universe where he leaves, because that would be a very, you would win the Super Bowl. If Aaron Rodgers had Davante Adams and Julio Jones, he would at least have 50 touchdowns at the minimum, and he would be winning the Super Bowl this year. Other teams that I think that he would fit really well in would be Detroit and the Rams. I think that if Los Angeles or Detroit got Julio Jones, he would again be a very good quarterback for Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff to get adjusted to the team. I know that he would also be new to the team, but having him there, especially in Detroit where they lost a lot of really good players, and then on the Rams, where they have a lot of decent wide receivers, but they don't have any stars. Cooper Kupp is an above-average wide receiver, but he's never really been a star. And whenever he was close to being star potential, it just wouldn't work out. So I think that if he went to the Rams would be a force to be reckoned with as well. They already are. But I think that if he went to the Rams, that would just solidify their ability to do well this year. I think that he also would fit well with the Jaguars. The Jaguars have a lot of cap space, so they could definitely pay him to be on the team. And I think any team that has a young quarterback would be prime time for Julio to go to. The only issue with Jacksonville is because it's their first year with the new quarterback and they don't have a strong defense, Julio might not be inclined to go there because he says, I want to win. The Packers you can win on. The Rams you can win on. The Patriots you can win on. You can't really win on the Lions or the Jaguars. So I think that those two teams are kind of out of the running. I think the Bears would be a really good team. The Bears are similar to the Patriots. where they're trying to rebuild their team. They have a very strong defense. They have a new young quarterback, and their offense is a little questionable. I think the Patriots' offense is a little bit stronger. But again, the Bears would be another team where Julio. I mean, they went 8-8 last year. They got a new quarterback. I think that they would do well this year without him. So they would still win with him. But again, the Bears, I think, are a team where the winning chances are slightly lower than the Patriots. And the last team that I really think would be a really good spot for him to land would be Miami. I think that Miami, he would have a lot of potential to do a lot of really good things with Tua. Tua has a cannon for an arm, and I think that if you were to see Tua Tagovailoa with Julio Jones, that would be a dominant duo, and that team would be scary. I don't see him going to the Jets. I don't see him going anywhere in the AFC North because those teams are all. I mean, I guess he could go to the Ravens, but I think that the way that the Ravens' offense works, Julio wouldn't thrive. Julio thrives on big passing offenses with a lot of passing yards, and the Ravens just don't do that. He could go to the Browns. I don't think that their offense works with him. They run the football a lot too. And then if you look at the AFC South, he could go to the Titans. But the Titans already have A.J. Brown. They lost Corey Dillon and their tight end that went to the Patriots. But the Titans could be a landing spot, but a lot of people are questioning whether or not the Titans are going to do well. So there's a lot of up in the airs with a lot of these teams. But I think the most likely places for him to end up are the Patriots, the Packers, and the Rams. But definitely those three. And then you could also throw the Bears in there. You could throw Miami in there. And there's probably a couple other NFC teams that you could throw in there too that I'm just not thinking of. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. This is news in my opinion because there's not a lot. It's not often that a Hall of Fame wide receiver is looking to be traded. I mean, if you look at Hall of Fame wide receivers, most of them play in the same place their entire career. If you look at the greatest of all time, the top three, Jerry Rice did move. He moved towards the end of his career. Randy Moss only played half of his career with Minnesota, and Terrell Owens only played half of his career with his main team. But Larry Fitzgerald, whole career with one team. A lot of other Hall of Famers, they just play the same place their whole career. So it's not often that Hall of Famers such as Julio Jones move like this. So I'm interested to see where he ends up going. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Where do you think he'll go? What do you think the trade will look like? And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.